Welcome to the coming of artificial audit intelligence. The audit standards call upon us to use advanced mathematics in order to work smarter, not harder. Using this exciting new audit tool, you can finally do just that. Artificial audit intelligence uses regression analysis to mine the data for relationships and highlight data points that will be of particular interest to the auditor. It represents the relationships graphically and gives the auditor a picture of the data. It provides the basis for audit selection and can form the foundation for continuously monitoring the data in real time for future anomalies. A powerful data selection wizard is available from the Excel ribbon bar. It is covered in another lesson. For our purposes, I will simply paste the data into artificial audit intelligence. The rightmost column of data is the element that is being audited. We refer to it as the dependent variable because it changes in relation to the other data elements in the row. It is plotted vertically, and so we refer to it as the Y variable. The other columns of data are the independent or predictor variables. The auditor will use his or her judgment in identifying fields in the record that are likely to drive the audit value. These values will be plotted horizontally, and so we refer to them as X values. These navigation buttons allow you to move through the system step by step. There are two buttons under Next because we have a choice in how to proceed. The Publish button would take all the defaults and go straight to the final output. We will select Options in order to see more of the inner workings of the system. This is the Options sheet. These settings are discussed in greater detail in another video. The Chartings settings on the left are used to drive and customize the way in which the charts are presented. The Analysis settings on the right are the defaults which drive the mathematics in the system. We will see them referenced and recorded on the auditor's report. Of particular interest is the setting Maximum Number of Data Rows to include in the analysis. Artificial audit intelligence can accept as many as 1 million data rows. However, Excel can only perform a mathematical analysis on about 10,000 rows. This setting determines the number of data rows that will be used in performing the analysis, which is then applied to the remainder of the rows. We will now analyze the data that we have provided according to these parameters. Artificial audit intelligence accepts from 1 to 4 predictor variables and then plots every possible combination of variables against the audit value. For each of these variables, the software then considers every possible curve and then selects the 5 best combinations of variables and curve. It places them in order in this grid, with the best fit at the top. The top row, then, is the combination of X variables and line type that has been mathematically proven to be the best predictor of the audited or Y variable. You can hover the mouse over the columnar headings in order to see a more detailed explanation. The red and green shading is driven by the constants that were specified on the options sheet. These colors indicate that a mathematical test or calculation has been found to be either acceptable or unacceptable for our purposes. It is often the case, however, that multiple predictors will be found to be acceptable. The value on top is probably your best bet, but we have the option of looking at a picture of the data in order to see for ourselves. Let's click on the Display Chart button for the second best fit, which is, in this case, a logarithmic curve through the data based on the variable age. Now we can see a depiction of the audited, or y variable, on the vertical axis and the predictor, or x variable, on the horizontal axis. The blue dots are the intersection of x and y. The black line, in this case, is a logarithmic curve through the collection of dots that best describes the relationship between x and y. The red lines run parallel to the trend line. They are placed so as to represent the confidence level that was specified on the options sheet. Any value that falls inside the bounds has been statistically proven to require minimal audit attention. The legend on the right displays a running count of the position of the charted data points. For these assumptions, there are currently no outliers that fall beyond the red bounds, and no elements have been removed. But we think that we have a measurement here that is erroneous. We would like to remove it from the math, but continue to display it on the screen and maybe look at it in the audit. At the bottom of the chart are 3 sets of spin controls. Let's look at the Remove Extremes controls. I will click on the upper control once in order to remove the most extreme data element from the top of the chart. That data point is now colored orange, and the legend to the right indicates that there is one data element that has been removed. With that element out of the mathematics, the trend line and the 2 parallel bounds have been dynamically recalculated. You can see the lighter colored lines where they used to be. The title of the chart includes the 95% confidence that was specified on the options sheet. Using the controls in the Bounds Adjust box, I will down-click on the upper bound. Doing that has caused the upper bound to recalculate and move closer to the trend line. That has resulted in one data point now falling outside the upper bound and being categorized as an outlier. Once you have finished sculpting the data by using these controls, you click the Publish button. A new instance of Excel is launched and a new workbook is published. The first sheet is a picture of the chart that was created. The data sheet now has 3 additional columns with calculations for each of the input data elements. While the chart is a fairly high-level view of the data, here we have actionable intelligence about every data element. The AAI results codes are the color-coded legends from the chart. The column ranking, the data element above and below the trend line, can help us to prioritize the items to be audited. The higher the number, the further away from the trend line the element is, and the greater should be our concern. The analysis sheet records the calculations that formed the basis of our decision on the descriptor line. The full population sheet deserves a little more discussion. Where possible, depending on the variable types, 4 formulas are displayed here. These 4, taken together, could be incorporated into an ERP or accounting database. In that way, outliers may be identified in real time as transactions or events are recorded. The report sheet describes, in plain English, the justification for the selection of the predictor and the final disposition of the chart. Please feel free to download a trial version of this revolutionary new audit tool. We hope that you'll share with us your experiences in using artificial audit intelligence to streamline your audit workflow.